Aloha, this is Michael McIntosh with the Superhero Training and Spiritual Entrepreneurs, and I wanted to talk to you today about spirituality and abundance, or spirituality and money, because a lot of the people who we work with, they come across our stuff, they recognize the value of what we're offering, they understand that it's going to change their life, and that's a huge thing, and so they're happy to exchange money for the time and energy we've put into our work so that they can get the result they want in their life. And a lot of people are like that, but there's some other people who have an idea that spiritual things shouldn't be charged for, they should all be freely available to everyone. And so I wanted to address that a little bit today, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, because you might have this on your mind: how does spirituality and money connect with each other, and is it okay to charge for something that's spiritual in nature, or to talk about helping people find their purpose and things like that, and should you ever get paid and compensated for that, or should it just be freely available to everyone? So it's a very good question, and I recently got a Facebook message from somebody who asked me this same question very, very eloquently, and he's a good guy, and I've had some chats with him since then, and so, you know, if I read this and it comes across maybe a bit harsh, it isn't, because he's a good guy. He's genuinely curious. So I'll read his message. I have a couple of acquaintances attached to your superhero training program that seem to get a lot out of the experience. However, I am curious regarding the moral conundrum of selling dharma, idealism, and the way. Aren't these things free in nature? Who in this universe do you believe you are to exert ownership over bliss, love, and freedom? I am no naysaying tool. I am genuinely curious, as I have seen some of the positive effects of your program. Why involve money or line your own pockets to proliferate truth? Please tell me your thoughts. I have on many occasions pondered beginning a free of charge training program similar, though not identical to yours, and I am feeling out where people come from. I appreciate your time and consideration. Regards. So he's seen some of his friends or acquaintances having a good time, having some experiences, changing their lives, and he's wondering how come it's not free. And he's also considered doing it for free himself. So, interesting. This is a taboo subject. This is a bit juicy. So as you can see by the fact that I live in Hawaii, I have long hair, I'm just doing my own thing. I'm not your, you know, what you could call a businessman type person that's like on a mission with a tie and like, let's screw everyone over and make the millions and all the rest of it. You know, so that's definitely never where I'm coming from. I'm personally somebody who has spent most of my life actually teaching stuff for free to people, and in fact what I still do with my time, you can hear the chickens, what I still do with my time is most of my time is spent on giving content for free. Most of the stuff that we do, I record audios and do videos like this and just give it away for free. And if you go on to any of my websites, you'll see that I've got plenty of free stuff that anyone can get, regardless, without paying a penny. And that's my intention, is that everyone should get this information, the most essential bits of information that they need, that they can use for free. You know? So, in terms of my integrity with, you know, giving value to others for free, I feel completely in integrity, because most of my time is spent on just giving away free stuff, by the way. And you can check out the website to see it for yourself. So the other question is, well, why are you charging, you know, for these trainings? Is this somehow immoral? Well, the most important things that we talk about, we give away for free. The essential ideas we get away for free. But if you think about it, let's just go back in time a little bit about spiritual teachings and whatnot. In India, for example, there are the gurus and the sannyasis and the sages and the fakirs, and there's different names for these different mystical type people. And in Indian tradition, they wouldn't accept money for themselves, or food even. But what they would do is people would actually come to them, householders, people who have money and jobs and time and all that, would come to them and give them food, give them shelter, give them various things that they need, so that they could live a life of doing meditation and sharing information. If you go to church in Western context, you'll notice that donation bowl goes around and people put money into it. Because if it wasn't for money and wealth, none of these things would happen. These gurus wouldn't be able to actually carry on, because they would spend their time wandering around getting food. They'd have to get a job, just like everyone else. So in order for people to devote their lives to spirituality and to serving the world in a spiritual way, in order for someone to be full-time doing that, they need to be sustained physically, which means in this case financially, because we live in a financial situation. If everyone did trades and there was no money exchange, then it would be a trade of some kind. They would show up and they would do their service, and then people would feed them and look after them and give them things. It's just a natural thing. And if you think about it, it's really a matter of value, offering value. That's what it is. So spirituality is in many ways just like anything else. If someone is offering value to you in your life, I'm no doubt you'll feel what you want to give them value back. I just this morning, in fact, dropped off some money to one of the mechanics who's fixing my truck, the truck that I use. Not actually my truck, but I'm looking after this truck, so it needs to be fixed. There's something wrong with it. So these guys are professionals, they're good at fixing trucks and cars, so I gave them some money for a part so they can fix the truck. And I had such deep appreciation for this guy who I spoke this morning. He showed me the pipe that was broken, and he said this had all these holes in it, and he's ordered the part, and I had a little chat with him, and I left there feeling real appreciation that he knows what he's doing, and he's going to fix the truck so that it can be driven around and used for what it's there for, So he's adding value to my life, and I want to make sure I add value to his life in some form of payment of some kind, or some trade, or whatever it is, so that there's an equal exchange, and we both appreciate each other, and his time is valued, and he moves forward in his life, and my time is valued, So the law of karma really is that you add value to others, they add value back. That's just the way life is. As you sow, so you reap. And so in spiritual traditions it's basically been the same, it's just that it's done slightly differently. It's more done in donations. But you also find people who give, but because they don't open themselves up to receive donations, they can't give anymore, because they actually haven't got their bills paid. They haven't got enough food to eat. Do you see what I mean? So if somebody is literally starving and doesn't have anywhere to live, how are they going to be in the position to deliver service and to teach others spirituality? It just isn't possible. You need to have your basic needs taken care of so that you can then serve others. And that's really just a matter of common sense, because if you're sick, tired, don't have any money, and have all sorts of problems, you're not really in a position to help anyone else. So whether it's spiritual teachings or whether it's anything else, we need to make sure that the people who are sharing the information are in the best state and are looked after, so that they can really deliver fully and focus their whole life on doing that service. Yeah, so let's just talk about this a bit more practically, something a bit closer to home in terms of our superhero training, or any of the other programs that we offer. And please excuse the roosters, they are enjoying their life, making as much noise as they want with their freedom. So we have an opportunity here with our superhero training to really make a big difference to people's lives. And by the way, the superhero training isn't just spiritual information, it's also helping people with health. You know, like, we're not obviously not doctors, but you know, doctors specialize in health, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's people who specialize in all sorts of things. There's mechanics, doctors, you know, lawyers. There's people who, you know, make clothes, there's people who make shoes, there's people who build houses, people who share about how to use computers. There's endless kinds of information. But our superhero training is about how somebody can understand their dharma, upgrade their health, wealth, happiness, their way of being, and get on their mission so that they can become a leader in the new paradigm, in this new world that's coming, that we're creating. And we want to make sure on our superhero training that the people who are doing this program firstly are 100% committed to doing the program and really value what they're getting, and secondly that they are in a position financially to be able to do the program. Because like I said before, if somebody hasn't got their money situation sorted out, they haven't got enough food, they can't pay the bills, their mind is spent on dealing with the basic needs. You can't really make much spiritual progress if you're stressing out about where you're going to eat next, because that's going to be on your mind. Once you've got your house and your food and your living situation is calmed down, then you can start thinking about other things, you know. That's the difference between humans and animals. Animals are wandering around most of the time, just eating all the time, basically. Human beings, they've been fed, you know, there's food around. We don't have to just like find the food and eat it, find the food and eat it. We've come out of that, and now we can think about other things, think about contributing to the world in different ways. And so we want to make sure in our superhero training that people are in a position in their life where their basic needs are taken care of, they're not freaking out about money, and they're ready to actually deliver value in the world and become a leader and think about other people. You know, we want to work with people who are thinking about others, who are not just thinking about themselves. And my aim is to, you know, to give as much as possible. And by the way, just as an aside, you know, the amount of money that we have made over the time compared to the amount of time we've put in and the amount of stuff we've given away for free is almost absurd, because we've pretty much been working for free for years and years and years and years and years, you know. I just want that to be very clear to you. And so this idea about lining our pockets and all that, it's a little bit not quite really the actual situation. So the superhero training, we want to work with people who value what we have and who are prepared to invest in that as a sign of appreciation for what they're getting, and they're financially stable so they can think about this stuff and do it properly. And I want to tell you something very interesting. I was open-minded to see what happened here. This is very, very interesting. Those people who say, I value this training, you're giving us so much time, this training is 9 months long, we've spent hours and hours, hundreds and hundreds of hours working out all this stuff, thousands and thousands of hours, and years and years of personal practice to be able to deliver this information, and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff that has been allowed us to learn this, you know, like our whole life has been about this, and we're giving that over a 9-month period, plus live events, plus our personal time, plus Q&A stuff. There's so many things, so much like time we've put into this. So it makes sense that someone says, well, I appreciate that, you know. And if you think about an educational institution, like a university, we consider ourselves to basically be like a university, because it's a training. You don't show up at a university and expect them, with all the costs that they have of delivering the information, of having to look after the professors and have all the materials and buy all the equipment and all this stuff. You don't just show up at university and say, I deserve to have all this for free. You know, somebody has got to have paid for all that stuff and be doing it full time and totally beyond the mission for that to be available. So it's reasonable that the person who's going to take benefit from being in university or take benefit from a training shows an appreciation, because if they didn't, the people who were providing the service wouldn't be able to do it, and then the service would end and no one would get it. So it's nothing to do with selling spirituality. Spirituality is everywhere. Like, you are a spirit. This is another thing that's very important, okay? You are a spirit. You are consciousness. We're all consciousness. We're all divine beings. We're having a subjective experience. There's as many worlds as there are people. And that's why everyone sees things a bit differently, and you have all these arguments, because people are not seeing the same world. They're seeing their world. I'm seeing my version of the world. You're seeing your version of the world. We don't see it in the same way. So it's subjective reality. And so when we realize that spirituality is everywhere, you can't sell spirituality, you can't stop anyone having spirituality. Spirituality is everywhere. It's a state of consciousness. You can't even get it out of a book, really. You know? It's just constant. All we do is we educate people on what we've learned, how we've used the information that we've learned that works for us, and how they can apply it in their life. You know? So, and the thing is, you know, like, bottom line is, you can go to a second-hand shop, you know, thrift store somewhere, and you can buy a copy of the Bible, or a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, or a copy of some scriptures for, you know, 10 cents, or $1 or something, or £1, or whatever, wherever you're living. Or you could go on Amazon and buy the Bhagavad Gita for like $10 or whatever, and you could read that, and that would be very good, you know. But if you want to have some people who applied that and investing their time and giving their whole life to that, then I think it's perfectly reasonable to contribute to their life's work, you know, so that they can sustain that, you know. So that's where I'm coming from, you know. I've never been doing any of these things for the money. I'm doing it because I want to help people. And I remember when I was at college, and I finished college, and I was thinking, what am I going to do now? And I thought, I can't get a job and just work for some random thing, and then I've got 2 hours left, or 1 hour left at the end of the day, and little weekends to try and do something else. I want to dedicate my entire life to serving other people, to serving the world. I want everything I do, all day long, to be about the service that I do. But in order for me to be able to do that, I need to make sure that I'm compensated for that in some way, so that it's possible for that to be the case. So, you know, this has been an ongoing journey, and I hope you can see that in order for people to be 100% focused on what they do, and do that and only that, they need to have their basic life needs taken care of. Most people actually do realise this and are quite happy to pay for our trainings, but a lot of the times, sometimes at least, people think that they should be given everything for free, because they think they should be given anything for free, and they don't recognise the value of, you know, earning and providing value, you know, and wanting others to, like, give us a handout. You know, we've had to work really, really, really hard and really think about helping other people and what we can do to add more value, and what's going on for people, and what specific problems do they have, and how can we help them out. So we actually teach a lot of stuff that is not, you know, technically spiritual and about consciousness, you know, about health and well-being, about making food, you know, about how to plant things, how to deal with relationships. The superhero training really deals with every aspect of life, you know, relationships with others, following your dharma, finding out what it is, getting on with it, saving time and being more effective with your use of time, how to have the community that really is powerful. All these things, you know, they really require a lot of energy. When you put them together, it becomes very powerful. And so, just coming back to this thing about, you know, the difference in the superhero training, those people who pay the full amount that we request for the training as tuition, they are absolutely solid. They are committed to the training. They do a really good job. They contribute to the community. They're pumped up. They recognise the value they're getting. They recognise the value that they can give to others. They see the change in their life, and they're such an asset. what we did at one point is we let people get in for free or cheap, or we had different payment options, and what happened was a lot of people just left the training, they didn't participate, they didn't value it, they didn't take it seriously. They were actually a problem to the community, and other people were telling us that this person's a problem. They were a problem for us because we had so much customer service stuff to deal with and asking all these questions, and it kind of like it wasn't really working out very well, but the people who like say, no, I value that you are, you're basically giving education of all these different things. I value what you're providing is top quality. I value the change that it's going to make in my life. It's so huge that whatever amount of money it is, I don't care, because I know how valuable what you're going to get. Because what we're doing is we're helping people completely change their life, change the way they think, how they feel, what they do, improve their relationships, improve their ability to connect with the higher power, and improving their ability to deliver service in the world, to do their dharma, with massive change. If you imagine that change, how that affects them for the rest of their life, could have gone through suffering and being confused and having bad relationships and everything's screwing up, turn it around and they move forward and make a massive difference in the world. That's a huge thing, not just for them but for everyone they know, and so to receive some financial contribution to do that, so that that can be sustained over a period of time for us, I think is perfectly reasonable, to be quite honest. So I hope these are some thoughts that I've had about this spirituality and money taboo subject. So after I've explained that, my ideas about how this whole thing works with spirituality and money, my own stories and experiences, I'm interested in knowing genuinely how could we do this for free? How would it be possible for us? And I'm interested, there might be a way that I haven't thought about. How could I be 100% in the right situation for me to be able to deliver the most service, where I can, because all I do all day long is I'm focused on delivering value to others. Like, this is my mission. Every single day I'm on it. You don't just see me hanging around not doing things. People who live with me, people who see me, they know that I'm hardcore, and you can see by the amount of content we knock out all the time. We are on the case, So if there's a way that you think I could be delivering this value for free, adding massive value, doing all these videos and audios, listening to people, having consultancies and clients and all the stuff we do, audios, videos, private clients, groups, seminars, etc., etc. If there's a way we could do that without any money, without ever charging anyone, I'd love to hear it, because honestly, if we could do this and give everyone everything all the time completely for free, that would be great. But at the moment, because it takes us time and it costs money to buy the equipment, to rent places, to look after things, to eat food, everything takes time. If I had to spend all my time growing food just so I could eat it, then I can't be doing videos and audios. If I have to get a part-time job, cleaning pots and pans for 8 hours, and then then I'll be a bit tired, and then I get 1 hour to do a video at the end or something. I wouldn't be able to actually be very, very focused on what I'm doing at all. In fact, it would just, the whole thing would fall apart. So if there's a wonderful way that you've found out that is a way for you to really be 100% focused on a mission, delivering value in all these different ways to thousands and thousands of people all the time, without ever being compensated for it and looked after so that it can be done, please let me know, because I'd be fascinated to hear. And if you're the sort of person that wants to change your life, then you'll find a way to do it. The thing is, whether things are free or paid, there's always a way to make a change. If someone is committed to making a change, they will. We've given away so much free stuff that is really powerful, We give all our best ideas away for free. This is something that I learned a while back. Give all your best stuff away for free. And if you're watching this video and you have some kind of service that you do, you charge for, I encourage you, get all your best ideas written down and give them all away for free. Absolutely. This is what we do, and this is what we continue to do. So all our free stuff, you know, is our best stuff. But the trainings are there because people want to go deeper, they want a community, they want to be able to ask questions, they want to understand the mechanics behind it, they want to take it on fully and be absolutely, completely committed to it with a group of supportive people, you know. But if they weren't on the training and they just did the free stuff, that would be good. But there is a difference because of the energy and the commitment level. That's what makes the biggest difference, you know. But if you're committed to yourself and your journey, then you'll find a way to make that change in your life, you know. I have gone through many challenges, but I was committed to moving forward, and I took 100% responsibility that if something's going to happen, I have to do it. And so if you have that same attitude, then anything that you want to achieve, you can, you know. It really is a matter of like taking responsibility, focusing on the mission, and then synchronicities will come, you know. And if there's a training that you have to pay for and you know it's a good training, the money to pay for that will come, you know. And money really is just an energy. It's a means of exchange. Money is very useful, because if I had to trade everything, it would take such a long time. Can you imagine how hard it would be? You go into somewhere where they're selling, say, fruit. If you don't have any fruit, you can't swap them fruit because you don't have fruit. What do you have? Well, maybe say you make chairs, and you say, do you want any chairs? Say, no, I don't want any chairs. I've got 10 chairs. I don't need any more chairs. And you say, but I want your fruit. Do you know anyone else who wants chairs? Well, maybe this person over here might want chairs, and if you swap he might. Do you know what I mean? You might have to go through 3 or 4 people to get something that the person who has fruit actually needs to give it to him. Do you understand how kind of time-consuming and annoying that would be? That's why money is useful, because you can just say, here's some value that's kind of like in this weird form. I'm just going to swap you this for this, and it's done. So money isn't evil, it's not bad, it's just a means of exchange. There's nothing wrong with money. Money in itself is just value. Like if you consider, say, a car is valuable because you can move around fast with it. It's very helpful if you want to go from A to B rather than walking. Valuable. It's a valuable thing. It's an asset. You know, if you have a car that you own, it's good, wonderful. So you can drive around, that's great. Now, that car, if you had to trade it, would be a problem, like we've discussed already. So what money is let's say you sold the car and you wanted to buy another car with it, or let's say you wanted to buy a computer with it. So you sold your car. Now, rather than having to work out what the computer guy wants, you've got this stuff called money, and that money came from selling your car. So your car is a real thing, it's a real asset, it's a real value. It's actual stuff, you know. Anything, you know, like a house is valuable, technology that you can use is valuable, you know, like telephones are valuable. So you sold your car, you got cash. What is cash? Cash is like a fluid, flexible form of value. It's turned from something tangible and physical into something a little bit more subtle and intangible that then you can turn into something else tangible. So money in itself is just value in the middle form. It goes from something real to this middle form, and then it goes back into something real. It's just a little tip, just a different way of looking at money. So when we charge for trainings, what we're saying is that, you know, we've got something valuable here. It's a training. It's going to totally change your life. What could be more important than changing your whole life and completely changing the destiny of your life? And you have assets and things around, say, you know, and you're translating some of the assets you have into this intangible thing called money, which then we take and we use it to continue doing our service. So it's really no different from back in the day when the sannyasis and the gurus in India were just receiving food. It's just that money has become this thing in the middle that allows people to move the value around more easily whereas otherwise it would be a bit clumsy and difficult. And we can exchange value with each other all over the world in a second, which is really cool, actually. So I have nothing against money at all. Money in itself isn't bad in any way. It's just value in its middle form, in its transferable form. It's gone into something different, and it has to come back into value. And by the way, wealthy people, they're not interested in money. They're interested in wealth. They're interested in assets. You know, and the greatest asset of all, by the way, is knowledge. Knowledge is the greatest asset. So investing in knowledge is the thing that has the biggest leverage and the greatest amount of power. So really recognize the value of knowledge. And you can get knowledge from many, many places. But I personally have no problem investing in knowledge, because what could be more useful? If something's going to help me see the world differently, change my life, act differently, have more effect on the world in a positive way, what could be better than that? You know, knowledge has become the most important thing nowadays. So money is just a invisible, transient thing that's value turned into this flexible stuff called money, which then you want to turn back into value. So any money you have, turn it into value, whatever the value is. You know, because if the economy collapses and all the money becomes useless, at least you have valuable things. Like a house is valuable. You know, food you can eat. You know, you can go into a health food store with your pieces of paper, and you can actually get some. You can say, here's some paper for you. You get the paper, which is completely non-edible and totally useless. But then you can take some food out and eat the food. You know, I kind of laugh with the people at the health food stores. So I can say, like, I'm going to give you some paper, and you're going to give me this stuff that I can eat. Isn't this funny? And they find it amusing because they're dealing with it all day long. And so it's just a funny thing. So I'm just sharing this with you to add a bit of value to your life, that when you think about money, just think of it as it's kind of like actual value, actual tangible assets, useful things, that has just been turned into another form temporarily, so that you can then turn it back into assets again. You know, and every time you use money, ask yourself, is this an investment? Am I making an investment that's going to improve my life, it's going to help the world in some way? And if the answer is no, don't buy that stuff, you know. If what you're buying isn't adding value to yourself and your life, and it's not adding value to the world either, don't do it. You know, that's a little secret tip there. It's pretty obvious, but this is very, very important. Money is an asset, is an opportunity to use that energy to add value to the world. So if people have money and they realize that by doing our trainings they can add value to their life and to the world, and they want to exchange that for the information that they get and change their life, that to me seems perfectly fine. But of course we all have our own beliefs and our own opinions. And so if you don't have money and you want to join one of our trainings, then there's a few options. We do some scholarships, but we do work trade scholarships. We want to make sure you're adding value, and we have some people on those programs. But we need to make sure that they're actually able to give, because again, if somebody's all me, but they're not interested in giving, they're not really suited to our trainings, because we want people who are actually want to help the world, you know. I'm 100% committed to people who want to make a difference in the world and change their life. Absolutely 100% committed. But if it's all about, I want to be given a free handout, you know, how are you going to help anyone with that kind of attitude, you know? So as long as you're coming from the right place and you want to really make a difference, then that's great. The other thing is that we've got so much free stuff. I mean, we've got loads of different websites with loads of free stuff on them. I've spent years and years and years creating stuff that you can get for free. So really, the question I'd like to ask you, if you haven't want to do our trainings but haven't got the money, is have you checked out all the stuff we've given for free? There's loads of it. Have you really studied it properly, fully? You know, there's so much stuff there. on different websites. You know, we've been knocking this stuff out for years, and plus we've got links to other things. There's like massive amount of resources there anyway, so you know, there's plenty to be getting on with. Don't think that there's a mindset, you know, if it's paid it somehow is like that's the stuff, and if it's free it's not valuable. It's very valuable stuff, so you know, please take advantage of it. If you have some other way of adding value, you know, in exchange for this, then we'd be open to that as well. And another thing is that, you know, I think it's a good thing to be able to generate income, because if you're giving value to other people, you're going to receive value. So if somebody somehow never seems to have any money, or was always needy, what's going on there, you know? We need to turn it around so that we are givers, when we are helping others, they're helping us, we're helping others, they're helping us. I would recommend in your mind you remove the whole idea of money completely, because money is just, like I said before, a means of exchange. It's value that's been transferred into a form that can be used in many ways. That's all it is. And you start thinking about, how can I add value to other people? Who can I help the most? Who's going to really appreciate it? And what do I need back from them, you know? And come up with win-win-win-win-win situations where you win, they win, and the world wins, and everyone around you wins, you know? Forget about money and start thinking about, what have I got to offer the world? How can I give it to people who really appreciate it? And in exchange for that, how can I be compensated so that I can continue to give more and more value in the world to others, and let that be the mission, you know? And if you get on that mission, you'll find that money comes, because money is just one form of wealth, you know? Lots of people end up in situations where they do something and they're given a car, or they do something and they're given a house to live in. Do you know what I mean? Or like here in this island, there's like, I make certain like my magical elixirs that I make, and people, you know, they might want to. I do that, they give me a massage. I give them some of those bottles and they say, okay, I want some of those and I'll give you a massage. Or I have trades with people, like this one guy who looks after my truck, the truck that I use. I help him with his business stuff in terms of like how he can add more value, and he does the truck, and we've got a little exchange going on that's working out really well. So if you forget about money, you're really just dealing with value, how you can help them, how they can help you, and just always focus on win-win-win-win-win situations. And I also recommend you check out the book by Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's such a deeply touching book. Whenever I read that book, I actually feel so much love, because I feel Stephen Covey is coming from a really lovely space, very, very heartfelt, and has a lot of beautiful, deep principles in there that I highly, highly, highly recommend everyone reads, wherever they are, no matter what. Read that book. It's such a good book, especially in regards to adding value and really like showing up in the world. So, hopefully this has been useful to you, and you can take advantage of the stuff we're giving. And also we're interested, like if you make comments on our blogs and you have certain needs, certain videos that you'd like, or audios, or you have certain problems, we are sending out surveys all the time wondering what's going on for people, so we can help you more. So like I said, a lot of stuff we do is just completely free to anyone. So the more we get feedback from you, the more we find out what's going on for you, the more we can help you out. So please feel free to leave comments, fill in the surveys when we're asking you what's going on, and we'll all be able to help each other out. So lots and lots of love, blessings, and aloha from Hawaii. This is Michael McIntosh.